Man, no pressure, I mean.
Good Sunday, July 1st, 2018. This is Two Idiots Talking Sports. I am Chance Del Fuego, and with me is Drunk Tim.
That's only a persona. I mean, I'm hardly ever drunk.
Right. And we are at On the Border, Reno and Meridian, Oklahoma City, the fantastic On the Border who has been so gracious to us and taken great care of us. They'll take great care of you too. Just come by. And we are here to talk sports. For you acronym lovers out there, Two Idiots Talking Sports, yes, that does mean tits. And we are here to bring you fresh milk of sports and entertainment. We don't want to bring you any of that Similac stuff.
No Michael Jackson milk either, because that'll kill you.
You don't even have to go on Wick to listen to us, okay? That's the way I see it. So this is Sunday. This is July 1st. This is 2018. I would feel like an absolute idiot, which is in our name, if I did not first and foremost bring up the topic of Paul George has decided to stay in Oklahoma City for the... Yes. Not only has Paul George decided to stay in Oklahoma City, he is going to sign a 4-year, $137 million deal.
That's a decent amount of change.
I mean, it's tough. Maybe you can live off of it. I don't know. Maybe you get a second job.
His bills are probably pretty high.
But what it means is it's not like a one-and-done deal. It means he is actually committed to, for an athlete, the long term. I try to think of my own job where I'm like, I've committed to 4 years. Like, oh my God, the long term. But he's committed to the long term with the Thunder. Russell Westbrook. That means here in Oklahoma City, our small market, we have a legit basketball team for years to come. I don't know how you can get any more excited. This is amazing.
Can I just say this? Sam Presti is a fucking genius. If you've ever seen the movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt, Sam Presti is the basketball version of Brad Pitt's character on Moneyball.
How many people thought he could not pull this off? I mean,
a lot. Probably millions.
Come on, man. We had like the Los Angeles Lakers. They're in the mix. All these teams, all these big markets. You know,
he even said Los Angeles before he came
Knicks.
here.
I feel so bad for the Knicks right now.
I don't.
Although Paul George wasn't mixed in with the Knicks, I'm just saying, as an organization, as a city fandom, like those fans show up, and it's a big market, and yet nobody wants to go there. And yet in Oklahoma City, we're able to keep both. Russell Westbrook, he signed that 5-year deal last year.
Arguably the third best basketball player in the world.
He signed the 5-year deal last year. Paul George now signs the 4-year deal this year, which that all meshes, that all comes together.
How many years is that for them to be together?
The 4 years. So that obviously means that the two want to play together. He really enjoyed his time here. He enjoyed his time with Russell Westbrook, which, by the way, takes out the whole notion of nobody wants to play with Russell Westbrook. Remember when KD left, they were like, well, it's because he didn't want to play with Russ. Well,
I don't know about all that.
That just kind of trumped that, right?
Well,
nobody wants to play in Oklahoma City. No one wants to play with Russ.
Here's one thing that these big-time freaking basketball players don't understand is that when you play for a small market, like you just said about Oklahoma City, you are treated like a god if you're a good player. Even if you're not like a top 10 player like Russ and PG-13 are clearly, like somebody like Steven Adams or Entis Cantor, you are treated like a god. You are given the extra...
Did you just call him Entis Cantor? You know it's Ennis.
Ennis, sorry.
You just added a T to his name.
You know, well, my ex used to make fun of Pau Gasol.
That's okay.
It's like, you know, you're missing the L, so we used to call him Paul Gasso.
Oh my gosh.
Because like, no, you're doing your name wrong. Apparently, your mother forgot to put the L on the name of Powell.
But you're right. Small market. We know what we've got. We know what we could have lost. We know the gamble that was involved by Presti. Man, they put all the cards in. If Paul George leaves, we've got we've got no draft picks.
We're number 7 seed.
We're still maxed out on the salary cap. We're still pretty much screwed. But the fact that he gambled and Paul George stayed, we now have a shot. I know there's the naysayers. Oh, well, they underachieved. We still have a shot. And that's all you can ever ask for. You can't. There's no guarantees in sports. It's for those that want the guarantee of the championship every year, it just doesn't exist. Even Golden State, as good as they are, don't have a guarantee of a championship next year.
I don't know about that one, buddy.
I do. Steph Curry rolls an ankle. How are they looking?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Durant re-aggravates that knee. How are they looking in the finals? I mean, I'm just saying, or how they... Forget the finals. How are they looking against the Rockets? You know, ask the Rockets. Chris Paul, he gets hurt after Game 5. They go down. They were up 3-2. They had that series. That's all that needs to happen to change your luck.
That's fantastic.
I'm sorry.
That's a really good point.
That all you got to do, you have to put yourself in position to win. You have to put yourself. There's no guarantees, but you put yourself in the position. This
is a full contact sport.
It is. It's a long season, 82 games,
Holy
and then the playoffs
shit.
is a full other season on top of that. I mean,
you have to win 16 games to win the championship.
Yeah, and you usually don't win 16 in a row to do it. So you're playing a lot of games.
Unless you're Michael Jordan, and even the greatest team of all time, in my opinion. I know, like, the Warriors, they won the whole 73 games, and they beat the greatest team of all time with Michael Jordan and Pippen and Rodman and Kukoc, and holy shit.
Yes.
They blew through the first 2 rounds for, sweep, and then they go and meet, like, an upstart Indiana Pacers team that have some heart with Reggie Miller and some players that are... like ish.
Yeah.
And they take them to a Game 7. And both teams are totally healthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you make a good point. If there is no guarantees in sports, then that gives Oklahoma City fans a little bit of hope.
If you think about it, Oklahoma City, at least defensively, was the one team that could really give both the Warriors and the Rockets fits. Like, because they've got the wing defenders. Remember, Robertson got hurt too. So if all things being considered, if and buts, candy and nuts, if he's able to stay healthy, I mean, the Thunder could have defended both of those teams as well as anybody else in the entire league. And who knows? 7-game series, what could happen? I'm just saying, right now, the way they're built, the way they're set up, they have a shot. It doesn't mean I'm picking them to win the whole thing. It doesn't mean that I'm now going on my favorite rocket ship to or whatever I don't know. I just went Baby Einstein, but like I'm not like pie in the sky totally. But at least we have something to look forward to as fans of Oklahoma City. You lose Paul George, and you're like, shit. Maybe we make the playoffs, maybe. But with Paul George, you're like, well, shit. Now we have a shot, and that's all you can ever hope for as a fan. I feel like
we're contenders.
Yeah, you have a shot. There's just no freaking guarantees in life, and that's what I love. I don't know if you heard about this, but the thing was, the last night they had the party. Russell Westbrook had a party and had Paul George over. This is where this was announced, by the way.
That's awesome.
They have Nas performing at this party.
Nice.
Have you heard of Nas?
Yes.
Okay.
The rapper.
So, and I was there, and I wasn't there. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I
drank champagne with
I'm not going to
Russ.
pretend I know one Nas lyric, but what I'll say is that is really cool, like, because like executives can't like talk to the players and stuff, but for Russell Westbrook to be like, we're going to have this party over here, and Paul George is going to be there, and we're going to have Nas and this and that, and then that's where Paul George says, boom, I'm staying in Oklahoma City.
He announced it at this party?
How cool is that? Yes.
For Oklahoma City?
The whole thing.
This is so like New York or Los Angeles or something like that. This is hardcore baller. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they had strippers there and they were just making it rain.
Gosh.
And this is serious, like, Hollywood type of stuff. I mean, seriously.
It's awesome.
That's like
it's really awesome.
P. Diddy announcing that, I don't know, he's gonna like do more music, or I don't know, that was stupid. But like, it really makes me think of some serious heavy hitters in Hollywood, some Will Smiths, some Brad Pitts or whatever.
Yeah.
I know that's the second time I've said his name, but Brad Pitt is the man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
His movies are fantastic.
He's iconic.
So it's just, it has that feel, and it's so weird to talk about that in an Oklahoma City setting.
Thank you. Exactly.
There's no way that Oklahoma City has people that are famous that throw these kind of parties and do stuff like that. That makes us look so much better for the future, for other people saying, hey, I want to go play with these guys. They're a lot of fun.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
It says a lot for Oklahoma City as an organization, the way that they take care of their players. It says a lot for the fans and how well that they handle the players that are here and handle the team at the games in Loud City. It just says so many positive things about this organization. Do you realize how many organizations go through so many years where they don't have shit?
New York?
I mean, even smaller markets. Let's call it the Milwaukee Bucks. Just throwing out random example. And here we are. I feel like we're just playing with house money here in Oklahoma City. I just feel like, holy shit.
It's being put in the right places. That's one thing that I hate. Actually, that's the number one thing I hate about the sport of Major League Baseball is they don't have a salary cap. So basically, whoever has the biggest checkbook or whoever wants to throw out the most money will win.
Well, but that hasn't always equaled titles, though.
It's
equaled wins in the regular season, but that hasn't always equaled the titles.
True that. You need players with heart, with teamwork, all that kind of stuff.
I just think we are spoiled in Oklahoma City, and I love it. I love it to death. We are so spoiled. Think about how long the Thunder have been here in Oklahoma City. We just completed the 10th season. We're about to go into the 11th season. That's not very long in a sports franchise like a history, right? We were horrible only one of those seasons. It was the opening season.
No, the first two.
No, the second one, we were about 500, remember? We turned it around. The first
every single season we won more games than the previous season.
Yeah, the first season we only won like 27 games.
Yeah.
The next season we won 40. Crap, here's the idiot part coming out of me. 40, 41, 42 games. But we were about 500.
It was the third. I'm pretty sure the third season.
Yeah, look it up, bitch.
I'm pretty sure it was the third season.
Look it up. We've had one awful season in Oklahoma City. We are spoiled.
Okay, Google.
My point is made. We are spoiled in this city.
We are totally spoiled.
We have 10.
That quick.
You have one losing season in 10 seasons. In your history. I mean, that is. Come on. We are spoiled.
No city has ever had the kind of
look up season
success.
2. Look up season 2. I want to know our record in season 2 right now because I'm telling. And either way, even if season 2 is losing, which it wasn't, we're still a spoiled city, and we are loving
City Thunder wins by season.
Oh my gosh!
Here are some results.
I don't even know what that is.
Did you even say okay Google, or did you do the?
No, bullshit? I didn't do the.
Did
Kevin
you do
Durant.
the bullshit Kevin Durant? Yo Google. Okay, she answered you. Okay, so you said okay Google.
Yes.
Thank you. Kevin Durant. Like Google would not even answer Kevin Durant right now.
Well, and one thing that I'm confused about is, because Seattle wanted their team back.
What a dick.
And so So we had, and they were trying to get a different team back there. They were trying to Cleveland Browns the shit out of it.
Oh my God, are you doing filler right now while you're trying to look up this fucking season?
I am.
Just look it up. I can fill time if you need to. Like, look up season 2. That's the only other season we had a possible negative season was season 2. My God.
Okay, so we were 15th. It's
Uh-huh.
not saying the freaking wins.
Okay, talk to me about wins. What were we?
And then
Yeah.
the next year we were 13th.
Okay.
It's not. It's like the
13th.
The link I looked up. It's not showing the
Good
wins.
God.
And then we were 8th, and then we were 4th, and then we
Lord.
were 2nd,
Man,
and
that
then we
doesn't
were
tell
1st.
me wins losses.
Yes,
We've got another guy working on it. We've got a staff working on this round the clock.
All right. Well, this is. This seems like. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
Good God.
Here we go. Here's your information, homie G.
Thank you so much.
So the Oklahoma City Thunder, the first year, 23 wins.
23 wins.
I
Okay,
thought it was
said
26.
I said 27, but I was wrong.
Well, this really sucks. I don't know if this is incorrect. It says the next season we won 50.
That sounds about right, asshole. I told you, we only had one bad season in Oklahoma City, and we turned it around. We've had winning seasons every year since. We are spoiled in Oklahoma City. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I didn't realize it was 50.
And was it, like, I think the first season we had, the original head coach,
PJ Carmelissimo was here in that opening season
and
that
then
was
they
awful.
fired him in the
went,
middle.
and then they went with
and then
Scott Brooks.
and he won a ton of games.
He won a
after
ton of games.
He
He's
won
now with
most
the
of them.
Freaking Wizards. He's doing well there,
Which-
except they just got rid of fucking Gortat. I
We
don't
shoulda never
understand that.
fired
Whatever. But Scott Brooks is in Washington. We now have homeboy from Florida. Why did I just lose his name in my head?
Donovan.
Thank you, Billy Donovan. People give Billy Donovan some shit. I'm sorry. I feel like Billy Donovan's a decent coach.
He's a good coach.
And I think in that regards as well, I think we overstate coaching in the NBA. Like, I don't...
You're going to lose your job eventually.
I think there's just, you have your talent and you either win or you lose. I mean, I'm sorry. There's some X's and O's involved, but
Coach Lou.
for the most part, you're just like, yeah, I'm in a suit here. Let's. I'm in a suit. Let's see if we win or lose this thing. I don't know. I mean, like, come
Seriously,
on.
Coach Lou. What did he do?
They won a title.
He just has.
They won a title. They beat the Golden
Is
State
it because
Warriors.
of him, or
No.
is it because he's got the number one player in
No,
the world?
it's because they had a healthy Kyrie Irving and a healthy Kevin Love in that series, and they came back and they won the series. It wasn't Tyronn Lue, but he happened to be the coach during that season, and they won a title, so he got it.
I don't even know if did he win Coach of the Year that year, or
Who cares?
some people do.
Oh my God, who cares about these honors?
It's
anymore?
like the Coach of the Year for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, Derrick Rose won the MVP that year. That kind of helped.
Okay,
Was it
fine.
Thibodeau.
Fine, you got me started. Let's talk about the NBA awards earlier this week on Monday. We're
Good.
going to talk about all that stupid crap. I'm sorry. I feel like it's a participation trophy. We gave out the MVP. We gave out the sixth player. We gave out the defensive MVP or defensive player of the year. We gave out the most improved and the coach of the year and all that bullshit. Let's start with MVP. James Harden has won MVP. And by the way, here's how it works. The votes go in before the playoffs start, and then they announce it after all is said and done. The playoffs.
That's weird.
They need to fix this in some way. I don't know necessarily the solution, but you either need to announce it after the regular season, or you need to take the playoffs into account because... And honestly, I'll tell you, I haven't heard a whole lot of. It just seems like, well, James Harden won MVP. Oh, well, okay, that just seems like the natural thing. It's bullshit. Okay, all right. If you argue for MVP, you're usually arguing for one of two things. You're arguing for he's the best player in the league
In the world.
or the world, or you're arguing he is the most valuable player on his team. Sometimes that branches off into he's the most valuable player on a really good team, right?
Like the Heisman.
So Could you argue that with James Harden on either account? Could you say, okay, James Harden is the best player in the entire league?
World. Like if you had
Could you argue that?
No.
I can't. I can think of multiple players better than him.
If you had one player to choose to be a part of your team, it would not be James Harden.
Could you say James Harden was the most valuable player on his team, the team that was obviously they had the best record in the West. Could you argue that?
No.
Who would you argue?
I mean, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry.
Okay. I would even argue Chris Paul on his own damn team. I would even
That's a good argument.
I would even argue Chris Paul on his own damn team. And so what I'm saying is that's why I think it's a participation trophy. I feel like last year they're like, well, Harden is up for it and should get it, but Russ, he got that triple-double. Let's give it to him. I guess we give it to him this time, even though Russ got averaged another triple-double this year, and he wasn't even in the top 5.
He wasn't even
voting.
in the talk.
He wasn't even in the talk of voting. He did the same thing this year. Now, you could say, well, yeah, he had PG-13 and Carmelo with him this year, and the year before he had nothing or whatever. Okay, cool, whatever. He still averaged a triple-double,
Do you
back
understand
to back.
what it's like
It's
to
never
average
been
a
done
triple-double?
It's never been done
And he
before.
just did it 2 years in a row.
The only person that ever did it was our Oscar Robinson once.
For 1 year.
Russell Westbrook did it back-to-back.
In this day and age of the NBA, where players are more athletic, players are way more skilled.
Now, I'm not arguing that Russell Westbrook should have won MVP this year. I just think it is obvious that it's, we'll call it political, we'll call it biased, we'll call it whatever.
Like it's the Oscars.
But, right. But if Russ is not even in the top 5... after he just averaged another triple-double.
He wasn't invited to the party.
And Harden's, and everybody, without argument, Harden won it. I'm sorry, I'm not even a LeBron fan, and I have to say right now, who's the motherfucker who carried a team on his back all the way, dare I say, to the finals and got their asses handed to him?
Most of his career.
It's
he's done
LeBron
that.
James. Now, I know we get tired of, we keep giving it to this guy.
We want to give it to someone new.
But if he's the same guy, if he's the guy, then give it to him. I don't care.
He earned it.
I don't care if I'm a fan of him or not. Give it to the right guy. You know what? Jordan got screwed out of some MVPs. Remember the year, you may or may not, Karl Malone got MVP 1 year. Jordan should have won MVP that year. I'm sorry.
And he beat him twice in a row.
But it was like a participation trophy, like, golly, Karl Malone, you've been great all your career. Here, let's give you the MVP. And
you're not gonna win a ring or a trophy. So here's
an
a
MVP.
consolation prize.
Here's an MVP. And Karl Malone was great. Karl Malone was all of that. It's just that Michael Jordan was just God. I mean, but give it to the people that are deserving of it. I would even argue Anthony Davis of the New Orleans Pelicans was more valuable and a better player than James Harden.
If he's not on that team,
I want to be that guy in the
screwed.
meme that's sitting at the table going, Anthony Davis should be your MVP. Prove me wrong. And don't use LeBron James. Use James Harden. I want to be that meme. I want to sit at the table and be like, okay.
Do you know, because I don't know, do you know who the 5 were?
I only know the top 3. I know you had Harden, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. I don't know. I can't remember after that.
Davis is a complete player.
Anthony Davis is a bad man. That was a Pelicans team that first off won the first round of the playoffs. They weren't even expected to do that well, and they obliterated the Trailblazers. Then they go on.
The Trailblazers are such a joke.
But then they've got to face the mighty Warriors second round. Okay, so it's a similar deal to like LeBron, right? But the Pelicans find a way to win a game. How did LeBron do? They got the goose egg. So I'm just saying, the Pelicans at least won a game. I mean, it's my Anthony Davis to me would be more of an MVP than James Harden. Leave LeBron James out of the mix.
If it was up to me, I would rather have Anthony Davis on my squad.
Put him on his own island. Yeah.
Anthony Davis is an amazing. He's like, obviously, you're probably going to automatically think of Kawhi Leonard.
Oh my God, I feel like this is like a shake weight. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I'm building my tries.
He's trying to put some salt in his beer, and he's not doing too well.
Sorry, that was more for the entertainment of the people in the room than on the podcast. I'm so sorry.
Our good friend Kenneth, like, I think he might have more luck with that. Anyways, but so in my mind, I feel like Anthony Davis is the number one defender in the world of basketball.
And, have you seen him score too? The dude still can play like a guard, but he's shaped like a center.
He's quick.
He's scary. If they put any talent around him, or if he finally decides to go somewhere, it's going to be scary.
He needs to really relocate, though, right? He's not going to win a championship. He deserves one.
Anthony Davis, you are more than welcome to come to Oklahoma City if you would like. And just a public service announcement from two guys talking sports, or tits, or whatever. Two idiots talking sports. I just said guys. I'm sorry. It's the beer. So,
but seriously, if he came to Oklahoma City, I would think that easily.
Yeah,
we're in the running for fuck you Warriors. We got this.
If he goes anywhere with another superstar, they are an immediate contender. That's the kind of talk we have when we say LeBron James goes somewhere. Anthony Davis is on that level. We just don't talk about him because he's stuck down there in New Orleans with Drew. Man, Drew Holiday is a decent player. He really is. And he scored some points to help him win that first-round matchup. And Rondo is serviceable, but they're not superstars. You put Anthony Davis with like a freaking Kawhi Leonard, which that's not even talks.
That would be scary. Probably the two best defenders in the world on the same team. That would be scary. But the Spurs don't want to trade him to the West.
They won't trade him to the West. Remember,
I don't even know why are you trying to trade Kawhi Leonard. I don't understand that.
Because he wants to go. He's made it very clear. And so if somebody makes it very clear that they want to go, you want to try to get the most you can for that guy as you can now, because when it comes come February, he can just leave and you get nothing. So now,
like what happened to us with Kevin?
Right. So now you want to get as much as you possibly can. And so, yeah, of course the Spurs are listening to offers, but
Kawhi Leonard. He's
remember,
I don't want to play for maybe the greatest head coach of all time.
Remember, this is the same Spurs organization. Do you remember the Lakers back when the Lakers got that Pau Gasol trade?
Yeah.
Remember they got Pau Gasol and they gave up like $5 and some Kit Kat bars? The Spurs, I don't know if you remember, the Spurs asked for an FBI investigation into that fucking trade because it was so lopsided. Like, they were so mad about Kobe now getting Pau Gasol and that becoming a contender, which, of course, what they do, they won titles, right?
2?
They won 2. They could have won 3, but they lost one of them to the Pistons.
Game 7.
They lost to the Pistons. That's how mad they were about that. This is the same organization that asked for an FBI investigation. They're not going to give the best two-way player in the NBA to a team in the West that they compete against. It's not going to happen. If Kawhi goes anywhere, it'll go in the East.
So what are they hoping that the FBI is going to find?
Back then, I don't know what the hell. They're like collusion, or I don't know what they're thinking they're going to find. What are they going to think? Like, David Stern allowed this?
It was the fucking Russians.
Yeah, let's get Kobe some of his divorce money back. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to get.
Like, he raped another girl that was underage, and
really, we're going to call that rape. Come on. I'm sorry. That was some gold digger sex, and
it totally was.
And
it was.
I'm just going to leave it at that. That was some gold digger sex.
Gold digger sex.
You call it rape.
Tiger Woods shit.
I call it gold digger sex. You know what we were getting into. Anyway.
And she won, didn't she? Like, Kobe had to pay her.
She got some money. The wife got like one of the biggest diamond rings on the planet, and it all ended up being okay. But
she stayed with Kobe, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Like, why am I going to leave him because he cheated on me?
Well, she did her tenure, And then she was able to, you're not just going to leave. You would think if you're in that situation, well, what an asshole, I'm just going to leave. But remember, there's hundreds of millions of dollars involved here. Well,
Ray Rice.
I need to kind of hang out around here and
Ray Rice knocked his wife smooth the fuck out, and she stayed with him.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure it's not. He's such a good man, I promise you.
He just can't handle elevators. So
he's like Beyonce or something.
Yeah. The pressure of it being in a box, it just gets to him. He punches things.
They need to get Dramamine or something.
It'll help. He's less aggressive.
Dramamine, it's a miracle drug.
All of a sudden, I saw a punching bag, and it was your face. So back to the NBA awards.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. I love it.
Yes, this is better.
Freaking gold diggers getting punched. Not that I'm advocating me three. Hashtag me three. Some of the other awards that went out. Ben Simmons got Rookie of the Year.
Who the fuck is that?
After his 5th season within the league, it was nice. That was good for him. I'm glad he got that Rookie of the Year award. I'm kidding. I feel like Donovan Mitchell should have won it with the Utah Jazz, and it proved itself in the playoffs. That's why it's kind of flawed. You have this regular season award, and then you have this gap with the playoffs, and you don't really get anything for the playoffs, and then you got Finals MVP. But Donovan Mitchell really showed, because nobody pays attention to Utah in the regular season. I feel like that's unfair. But
I don't know that they pay attention to them in the playoffs either.
Well,
the Thunder didn't.
But
they had their ass handed to them.
Yeah, they did. Well, Ben Simmons had a great regular season. But it was his second season because his first season he was injured the whole time, whatever. And so,
They did the same thing to Blake Griffin. He was injured his rookie year.
It's within the legal loophole. Okay, so
weird.
whatevs, but okay. I'm not going to bitch about it too much, really. I feel like you could bitch about all these awards if you really wanted to, if you wanted to break it down. Defensive Player of the Year was Rudy Gobert from the Jazz, and I thought that was good, even though
Great shot blocker.
He missed a lot of the games of the regular season, but like I said, I'm not going to mess with that one. He deserved it.
Great shot blocker, great rebounder.
I guarantee you if Kawhi was healthy the whole year, he probably would have won it again, by the way. But
Is
Rudy
it
Gobert,
wrong for me to want to call him Gobert?
No.
You know what? What's eating?
You have that right as an American citizen. You can call him Gobert.
What's eating? Gobert or
Gobert grape?
Yeah, Gobert grape.
What, you think Leo DiCaprio is going to come out and start blocking shots or something? Just he go full tard and
where's Arnie?
They said in Tropic Thunder you can't go full tard.
No,
and so
it's maybe can't. 3/4.
Yeah, you go 3. So Gobert goes full Gobert. He doesn't go full Gobert. He just goes Gobert.
That French frog.
Yeah. That reminds me of the water boy when he gets the letter, or she reads the letter from Dad. His name's Robert. Ciao, Roberto. He's like, Roberto? Yeah, he added the O. He thought it was more, oh my God.
The song that I hate so much that your wife loves, poking fun at me because I hate the song so much, Mr. Roberto, or Mr. Roboto.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that song was written about his barber named Mr. Roberto. So, anyways, there's a bunch of useless information.
Yeah,
they won't do you any
kids.
good.
All right, so most improved player goes to Victor Oladipo, former Thunder player for only a year, but most improved. That was I'm not going to argue that one. That was pretty obvious to me. Coming from the Thunder, he didn't have a whole lot of great numbers, and then he goes to the Pacers and kind of becomes the alpha male on the team, takes them to the playoffs, and they have a good series. I mean,
there's
they play well.
A lot of Oklahoma City fans that are really pissed about that because it's like, why didn't you do that shit when you were in Oklahoma City? That's why we traded for you.
It just didn't fit. Sometimes the chemistry's not where that can work. I don't know. It just doesn't always work out that way.
I just feel like it should have been like an old school 1994, 1995 Houston Rockets team where, Russell Westbrook penetrates and drives to the basket, kicks it out to Oladipo, smack.
You
done.
always like the penetration. Like, you are a big fan of the penetrating.
I love penetration.
Yes.
I could not talk more about my love for penetration. I was formerly a guest there.
Right.
And
Okay, well.
it's one of my favorite things. Hashtag penetration. And then it's just.
Is there a hashtag penetration going around?
Yeah, it's one of my new movements that I'm trying to work out, and maybe this is my vehicle for using that.
So, also NBA awards, Coach of the Year. This is just absolutely hilarious to me.
76ers? That I don't know who it is, but
it's not 76ers. Coach of the Year goes to Dwayne Casey of the Toronto Raptors. What's funny about that is he got fired. So
that's right.
He got fired. They got the best regular season. They get the best record in the regular season in the East. He gets fired. He immediately gets picked up by the Detroit Pistons, which
smart move.
Which shows, he may be a decent coach. We need to pick his ass up. He gets Coach of the Year for the same year he got fired. I think that's hilarious.
That is. Has that ever happened before?
Think about in the real world. Like, let's say you're a manager of something, and you're like, yeah, crushing it. You kill all the numbers. You get Manager of the Year. Hey, man, we were expecting better out of you. You're fired. Oh, shit.
So what, are you going to scrape my name off of my parking spot?
Yeah, do I still get the plaque? Do I still get the Vegas trip? Like, what's happening here? Like, oh my God. So I got Coach of the Year, I got the trophy, and I got fired. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to work for your organization.
F you, you're cool. F you.
No, it's like, no. You don't need to fire me. That's not necessary. Why is that? I'm quitting.
Right.
So the Detroit, who would want to work for an organization that fires the Coach of the Year?
So congratulations, Detroit Pistons. You just got the Coach of the Year.
I don't know what he has to work with.
He's got Blake Griffin.
That's right. Well, I had heard that there were talks about him.
He's got Andre Drummond.
Drummond is good.
Look, in a day and age where we play small ball,
Griffin's kind of.
Well, you play in a day and age of small ball. The Detroit Pistons have got a great front court. Andre Drummond dominant at center, and Blake Griffin at your power forward.
He's a human highlight reel on offense.
If they could surround them with any sort of freaking guard play whatsoever, Detroit would be, especially in the East, they would be something to deal with. We'll see what happens.
Because I'm an OU fan, of course. I want Blake Griffin here.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't even be so surprised.
I'll root for him in Detroit, even though Detroit. Oh my! I just feel sorry for Detroit. Anymore.
Blake Griffin, he came back one more year that he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because this was during the one and done.
He was great
era.
Here. He his
played
brother.
3 years?
He and his brother were great here. We love him. We love
Taylor?
the Griffin brothers. Yeah,
Taylor was fun to watch.
They were awesome.
But Blake Griffin, with all of his glory and talent and skills, he easily could have gone and made the kind of money that he ended up making anyways. But no, this motherfucker said, no, I'm going to come back one more year to OU and try and help win a national championship.
Oh, I wish they would have.
Just like the sisters for the women's OU. Oh, come on, man.
Good God.
So they came back and they said,
put me on the spot.
We're going to come back for
women's sports. You want me to come up with something?
Oh, we got one of the sexiest head coaches in all of female sports.
I'm kidding. I'm just getting some misogyny out right now.
That's terrible.
The Ham. Was it the Ham sisters?
No.
Whitney Ham? Ham?
Whitney Hand.
With my hand?
With my hand. No, she's really cute. She ended up marrying Landry Jones. Mm-hmm. And she was a pretty decent ball player, too. But no, the Black sisters that played for OU, I think they were twins.
They were something.
They were twins. Anyways, they came back and they said, we're going to play one more year, and if we don't win a national championship because they were so stupidly talented, we're going to pay for our own scholarship and our own tuition, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a good point. So, back to the NBA awards.
Yes.
Before we get lost in two sisters that went to OU that I have no clue. I think one of them was the big girl. And
Really?
I can't remember. I think one was the big girl. She was the down low girl, wasn't she? Like
They
she
were
was
both
she was like
forwards.
the Shaq for women's basketball. Anyway, so of all those things we mentioned from the awards show, I think the most notable thing from the whole thing was Bill Russell's in the audience and he flips off Charles Barkley and does it in the front of the camera, like the camera shows on Bill Russell and he gives the old "Hey, you're number one, bird" thing. And with a big smile on his face.
Is there anything before this happened
There's
that
not-
gave him reason to do that?
There's not much. It's not like Barkley called him a dickhead or a douche or anything. He just
There's always that possibility.
I guess there's
he
like
talks
a-
shit about Oklahoma City, us having nothing but
there's like a
chickens in
little
our
bit of
backyards.
there's a little bit of past with Bill Russell and Barkley, but I
They
I
never
don't-
played together.
no, they did not.
Yeah, that's a pretty good amount of time in between.
Yeah, Bill Russell is Charles Barkley's dad, really, age-wise. Anyway, but I feel like there's like a handful of people that can flip, and Barkley said that it was an honor. I feel like there's like a handful of people that can flip off Barkley and get away with it. I feel like Russell's obviously one of the people on that list.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain, if he was alive. I feel like Michael Jordan could flip off Charles Barkley and get away with it.
Well,
I think,
they were friends.
I think Magic Johnson and Larry Bird could flip off Barkley.
Larry Bird, he was a wild man, so
So I think maybe there's 6. I think Kareem. I don't think Kareem ever would because he's into the Zen stuff, but I think Kareem could flip off Barkley and get away with it. I think that's your 6. That's your 6.
your 6.
That's your Bird. Your flip off the Bird moment. Larry Bird because he is Bird.
Larry Bird
Giving
giving
the
somebody
bird.
the bird. It's like, no, this is trademarked, motherfucker.
Oh my God, that's like a Geico commercial. Like Larry Bird giving the bird. What are the odds? Well, with Geico, you could save 15%. You know,
Nice.
type of deal. So
I like that a lot.
yeah,
That's great.
Larry Bird giving the bird. But yeah,
We should totally market that too.
Bill Russell giving the bird. You know, the dude's in his 80s, and he's so interesting. He's had some back and forth with the whole. He's talked some shit about, you know, he still believes he's got that competitiveness in him. He's like, hey, I can beat you. You couldn't guard me and all that kind of stuff. So Bill Russell, he's
know.
one of the greats. He's awesome. And you know
Top
what?
10 greatest player of all time.
And
easily.
honestly, we'll never know because of different eras of basketball. We're good. And but that was the highlight of the NBA show, if that means anything to you. I think the NBA
Not the
awards
awards
show,
given out, but the bird given.
right?
flipped.
Yeah, I think the awards show is kind of. I don't know that people are really talking about it. We are talking about it, but I don't know that people are really talking much about it anymore. And maybe it's because of the point I'm making about the whole. It's like a participation trophy shit. Give it to the person that actually deserves it, and then move on with your lives. I
It's
don't
like, yeah, if this person wasn't on their team,
Yeah.
would they be as success? Would that team be as successful as
we
they
don't
were?
want to give it to LeBron because if he gets so many MVPs, then that puts him ahead of Jordan. Yeah, there's just that political bullshit. It's just like, just stop. Give it to the person that deserves it and move on with your lives.
I
And
agree.
we'll argue the rest later. Kareem has 6 MVPs in his career. That's more than anybody else. Does that make him the best player
Michael
of all time?
didn't win 6.
He's up there. Michael
I
won
thought Michael had 6.
4. Off the top of my head, he won 4 or 5.
I want to say that he has 6. I mean, he won the 6 championships.
He has 6 finals MVPs because he
Yeah.
won 6 finals and he got MVP of every single one of those finals. But
for good reason.
regular season MVPs, he only has. It's 4 or 5. I'm going to guess 4. Just off the top of my head, I believe it is 4. And Kareem is the only one with 6 ever. So
And
Kareem,
I imagine his MVPs that he did win were on the years that they won
he has
the championship.
I was wrong. He has 5. This just in. Jordan does have 5. Kareem has 6, the most ever. I did know that. And
and
Jordan
that's saying
has
a
5.
lot. When Kareem was like had
LeBron-
freaking Magic Johnson.
And that's the political side. Like LeBron right now does have 4. So if he wins it again, that gets him his 5, which puts him on the Jordan level. It's just bullshit. Like,
and he's not better than Michael Jordan.
I don't care how many MVPs you win. I don't believe that since Kareem has 6 MVPs and Michael only has 5, that Kareem is now better than Michael. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know there's those politics out there, but just give it to the appropriate person. And plus, like we said earlier, Michael could have won more MVPs, should have won more MVPs in his career. They just kind of participation trophied it out to your Karl Malones of the world and other people. So
nice.
Whatever. Anyway, so also this week, going back to free agency, Paul George is out of the mix. There were the big 3 names that were supposed to go to the Lakers. Paul George, he's out. It's kind of like the Infinity War. Thanos has snapped, and now you've got you got him going into dust. Paul George is going into dust away from the Lakers, and so it's kind of like a what I call it earlier this week. We were talking. It's like Pokebron Go. It's like gotta catch them all. Pokebron. You gotta catch them all. Well, they didn't catch Paul George. So now you got other people. So now it's up to LeBron and Kawhi to go to the Lakers. Well, the Spurs are hell-bent on not sending Kawhi to the Lakers. Basically,
or to any team in the West.
The Spurs are like, yeah, we'll give you Kawhi if you give us, just like this shit offer. Like, if you give us all your number 1 draft picks ever and your entire team, yeah, absolutely, we'll give you Kawhi. Wink, wink.
I think that might be worth it.
No, it's not. That's bullshit. Wait, are you going to have Kawhi and LeBron and no other teammates?
I heard that there was a possibility because, there's a lot of times where they have these 3-team deals where basically all of these players are going to this one team.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 teams gets draft picks and or players and all this kind of thing. And I'd heard that was one of the things that was a possibility to get LeBron and Kawhi over to LA or wherever they're wanting them to go.
Well, there's been a lot of theories, yeah. But here's the thing. Now Paul George obviously isn't going. Kawhi Leonard is not likely. LeBron has kind of been waiting for those 2 dominoes to fall in order to go join up, right? LeBron's not been wanting to be the first domino to fall. He's been waiting for the other dominoes and then like, okay, I'll join these guys and let's go win. Well, these guys, it's not panning out. Paul George is now going to stay with our lovely Thunder. And it looks like Kawhi is going to the East if he's going anywhere. So what do you do now if you're LeBron? I know the Lakers are trying to get DeMarcus Cousins, but is DeMarcus Cousins enough to pull him to L.A.? Does DeMarcus Cousins and LeBron make the Lakers good enough to even compete for anything? Maybe an 8
playoff,
seed?
Yeah.
Maybe
like
an 8
low
seed?
Playoff seed.
Is that what you want? You could stay in the East right now and go to as far as you want to go.
And, of course, everybody, the main, all the head organization heads, they want to. The Warriors are the one thing that's in their mind because, in my opinion, as long as Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and the way underestimated Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, friggin' center that can shoot threes, what is he, Bill Laimbeer? But as long as those people stay in Oakland, they're probably going to win the next 6, 7, 8 championships in a row. They're going to Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls the crap out of this.
No, they're not going that far. They're not going that far. They'd be favored for the next couple. But after that, people want to get paid. Right now we're talking about free agency and your max deals and all this stuff.
That's why I'm saying as long as those people are
Klay
there.
Thompson is eventually going to want to get paid.
And be appreciated.
You got to realize
his
Klay
skills.
Thompson has been taking a back seat this whole time. And Klay Thompson is much better than what
He could
he's
have
been
his
given
own
credit
team.
for. Yeah.
and get a max deal.
Draymond is eventually going to want his max deal.
That is true.
And so
But that's
I don't 6 to 8 years is
No,
is
that's
BS.
why I'm saying as long as those people are there in Oakland,
Yeah.
they will win the next 8 championships or so in a row.
The next 1 to 2 years, they'll be favored. That doesn't guarantee them a win, but they'll be favored.
Heavily.
After that, I think it's open season. And so, that's what's key about teams setting up their rosters the way they are. Look at the Celtics. Can't stand the Celtics, but I've got to love and
As a Lakers fan.
But I've got to love and appreciate the way that they're setting up their team right now. They're all young guys. You've got these two
Like
max.
the Thunder did.
You've got 2 max guys. One of them, Kyrie, who may or may not leave. Who knows? But if he leaves, you've got Jason Tatum behind you, who's proven he's great. You've got young Gordon Hayward, who's a max guy, right?
Yes.
So
Very good player.
they're great for the future. And if they're able to make a deal for Kawhi, then fantastic. They're immediately great. That means they now can compete for a title. Or if they don't, who cares? We're still great, even after the Warriors fade.
Still
And
going to be in
that's-
the top 3 or 4.
That's the genius of Danny Ainge and the Celtics. I'll give it up to him. I can't stand the Celtics, but I have to give it up to him.
I like Danny Ainge.
I have to give it up to him. I don't have a choice. I don't feel like I have a choice. They're doing it the right way, and they are doing a great job in Boston right now. I mean,
their office.
I
yeah.
can't stand the Celtics, but they are doing all the right things right now, especially for the future. And if they end up picking up Kawhi, how can you not pick them? That's the team to beat the Warriors at that point.
Wow, that's saying a lot, dude.
Remember, Kyrie Irving, if he's healthy, has already beaten the Warriors before. You're saying he couldn't come back and do it again?
No, I'm not.
And then with a
I'm
Gordon
worried
Hayward
I'm worried
and
about
an
his
Al
mindset.
Horford and a Jason Tatum.
I like
and
Al Horford a lot.
I mean, dude, this who?
Jaylen Brown.
And Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown's
I didn't
pretty
even
good.
mention Jaylen Brown. That team is stacked. That is a team that can take on the Warriors legit. And it's like
5 years.
to me,
next year. They could do it next year.
They can do it for the next 5 years.
Exactly.
From a front office point, like an aspect, Kyrie Irving, worries me because it looked like he was so happy with the LeBron.
He's
in the Cleveland.
wishy-washy. You don't.
I don't want somebody like that in my organization.
You don't hate, but that's the beauty of what the Celtics have done. They can win with Kyrie, or they can use him as we can use him to
Leverage.
get a Kawhi Leonard. Oh my God, that's
want
the
that?
position they've put themselves into. They have a Jason Tatum that can play Kyrie's position and has shown that he's a star type of player. That's
Okay.
what they've done. That's why the Celtics are in such great position, and that's why it's laughable to me. And you said, you're a Lakers fan. I am, but I'm also realistic. I know the Lakers are nowhere near in position to win a title.
No.
I know that your Lonzo Balls of the world and these Ingrams, those guys are wannabes. These are guys that hope they can eventually get to that level. The
It
Celtics
made Kobe quit.
Celtics are already there, and they just proved it. They were a Game 7 away of beating the Cavaliers and getting to the NBA Finals.
With an injured skeleton crew.
Without their 2 superstars. They're there right now. I'm just saying, man, it is scary.
If anything, I feel
that's-
like maybe
that's why-
he should have won Coach of the Year.
That's why there's nothing guaranteed for the Warriors right now, because the Celtics are coming.
They have heart.
Not that I'm. It sucks. Do you vote for Hitler or Stalin? I don't like. I don't like the Warriors. I don't like the Celtics. But damn it, you got to root for somebody, right?
Yes.
So-
especially when the Thunder are out.
But that's what's happening.
But we'll be just fine this year.
We will. So there's that. So that's Lakers free agency this week.
What else you got?
This week I found it interesting. You've heard of Sammy Sosa, right?
Yeah,
you've
the
been,
corked
You've
bat.
been around, haven't you? You've been alive, right?
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa it's
Steroids.
it's popped up back in the news a little bit, just because there's been a reckoning. Like, remember Sammy Sosa? He had the big deal with Mark McGwire, and they were like home run battling it out, and it was
close.
It was feverish baseball. It was great to watch. And then
Both of them on steroids.
And then the steroid thing came out. Mark McGwire said, no, I didn't do it. I think he eventually admitted to it.
He did.
Sosa never
You
has.
look like the Hulk. You were a skinny little shit back in the
Sosa-
late 80s, early 90s.
Sosa has never admitted to it. It has been some years now. It's been 11 years. He's been all over the world. He's done his Sammy Sosa thing. But
He played for Oklahoma City for a minute.
But he has not been back to Chicago. Chicago's wanting him to come back, and then they make peace and go on with your sports lives. Sosa still will not come back. Sosa is still refusing to admit that he did any PEDs. And I think it is tremendously obvious if anybody's paid attention to baseball over any sort of lifetime. Sosa, when he bulked up, all of a sudden he's knocking out all these home runs. And then when the thing came out about who was on that Mitchell report about who's on the PEDs, right? His name's obviously on it. And now they're checking for it. And then what does Sosa statistically do? I mean, it's like a roller coaster. It's like he just skydived. He did one of those paragliding things.
Which is why he ended up playing for Oklahoma City for a minute.
The guy barely hit above 200. He hardly hit any home runs. The guy went nowhere.
So it was like he was doing it on purpose to stay away from the steroids talk?
At what point do you just get over your pride and you just say, okay, guys, I fucked up.
I cheated.
I did. I cheated. Everybody was doing it. Everybody was. Or, okay, we'll say 90%. I think that's a fair...
Wow.
That's a fair percentage,
That's
right?
a lot.
At that time, 90%. 90% of everybody was doing it.
Because I guess they weren't random drug testing them,
And my
or?
career really wasn't, And then I did this.
He was a decent hitter.
And then I did this. He never hit for average. He was never a high average
300 hitter or
Hell
anything
no.
like that.
He was home run or strikeout. That was Sammy Sosa. He was a decent fielder. That was it. That was Sammy Sosa. And, I mean, just come out. I feel like we as fans are forgiving.
If you're honest.
Eventually, I mean, but if you keep lying to us and we know you're lying to us, I don't think we're as forgiving. I think if you
Look at what we did to Bill Clinton.
I think
like
it's-
we wanted to lynch him because he lied on, like, oh my God, a president that lied?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, but we forgave his ass. And you know what? I think if Sosa
He's one of my favorite presidents ever.
I think if Sosa would come out and just go, yeah, I did. Everyone was. Look what happened. I got caught up in it. And everybody's culpable for this shit. I'm sorry. It's not just the players that
like
get
dogfights in the NFL. Apparently, that's a bigger thing than people knew.
Well, like the Cubs are asking to make amends with Sammy Sosa. Are you trying to tell, can you tell me right now the Cubs didn't have a clue that Sosa was roiding at that time?
But they random drug test these people, right?
They do now. I don't know what they were doing then, but it was pretty obvious back then. And so, here he is. I know the Cubs knew. I don't have well, here is evidence A right here, but I know the Cubs knew about Sammy Sosa. Not just Sammy, all the players. McGwire, all of them. Cubs knew about Sosa. I'll take it a step further. Major League Baseball knew about Sammy Sosa and the other players, and they did nothing. It wasn't until this damn Mitchell report came out and spoiled the party. They were loving the ratings. All these home runs are getting hit. I mean, shit. What do we do? We love it. This is great. It's Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Yeah, we love it. This is great ratings for even the All-Star game. The two of them are hitting a home run competition. Anyway, I just wish I liked Sammy as a player.
I like the sport of baseball, but to be honest with you, since that shit started with McGwire and Sosa,
Yeah.
it has made me not watch baseball as much. And then you've got the Barry Bonds.
I'm
and
a
then
San Francisco Giants fan, and it hurts me to the whole Barry Bonds thing just destroys me. Because if you look at his stats, if you look at what he did, you're like, okay, you can't argue this anymore. He's the best player in baseball of all time. You look at the numbers he did. He hit the most home runs of all time. He got walked the most of any player ever. So when he went to bat, he either he was at a point where he either hit a home run or he was walked. He didn't even strike out. Even when he was on roids, he didn't strike out. Like, he was that good, and he hit for average, and he stole bases, and he was a Gold Glove winner.
The stolen bases, okay, I'll give him that.
Maybe he never pitched a baseball like Babe Ruth, but I'm sorry. You put Babe Ruth next to Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is the better player.
Well,
but
you and I've had this argument for years.
But
decades.
Here's the asterisk. We know, even though there's no evidence, but we know your head ballooned up like a fucking hot balloon. He took steroids.
And Babe Ruth didn't do anything.
He did alcohol, and that's not a PED last time I checked.
Like, who was it? Robin Williams talking about weed being a performance-enhancing drug?
Yeah, Babe Ruth drank a lot of alcohol. That is not performance-enhancing. And I'm just saying, so Sosa needs to come out and just go, dude, I did it. I'm sorry. That's what we did. We had a great run. Forgive me. And you know what the baseball community would do? They would forgive it. They wouldn't throw him in the Hall of Fame, but they would forgive him.
Thank you for being honest.
He wouldn't be Mr. Cub. That still goes to what's-his-face, but he would still be one of the top most loved Cubs of all time.
Yeah.
And right now, that's probably a great thing to be.
Speaking of alcohol, did you know that there is one sport where alcohol is a performance-enhancing drug? I learned this because it was a question on Millionaire.
What is it?
Gun shooting. Because it helps you steady your hand.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, because you're not as nervous and you're... Okay, all right.
I thought that was an important, interesting fact.
I'm glad we have this gun here. Let's test this theory. I'm kidding.
At least my ex-wife's not here then.
All right. Hey, you know one thing that we've really neglected, and I don't know if it's the American in us or what.
The female erogenous zone or the clitoris?
We've definitely neglected that.
There's
in this podcast, and I'm sorry.
And that really sucks from a show called Tits.
It is. My tongue says forgive me. But we have neglected to talk about the World Cup.
Yes.
We neglected it last week, and we've neglected it so far, but now it is time for World Cup talk. And I will say this. It was said that, oh my God, World Cup, the United States is totally not in it. Nobody's going to care. I feel like, and this is not a ratings perspective, this is just an idiot talking that just watches other idiots watch soccer, right? So I don't know if it's because we have more foreigners here and get them there and build the wall or what's going on. But here I've noticed that this World Cup we've paid a lot of attention to it, despite the fact that the United States is not in the World Cup. I feel like a lot of people are paying attention to this World Cup.
It feels like there are more people interested in this World Cup where America's not even in it than whenever America was in it.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
That was
right?
the hope. You know, when they had the World Cup back in '94 in Los Angeles, they were hoping that it would inspire soccer. And maybe these things take time. Like I said, that was back in '94.
Major League Soccer has the interest has risen a little bit.
A little bit, but you realize MLS is not on the same level when MLS is still currently playing their season out while the World Cup is going on.
That cracks me up.
That's not a good sign.
No.
But that means all of our stars are nowhere near good enough to play with these stars.
That's what Fox is going to play after the World Cup. And I was watching that.
Oh, look at these guys. They're just totally imitating soccer.
I know, I was watching a little bit of the MLS soccer that came on after the World Cup, and I just kind of felt like, well, now here's some amateurs, but these are major league players. These guys are paid to play soccer.
Oh, yeah.
It's just here's these guys now.
One of the big matches I want to highlight was there was England versus Belgium. and that was one of those. That was one of those matches. It was still in that grouping where they decide who goes to the final 16 and where they end up.
They play a 3-game little season.
And so there's like this whole, okay, we don't want to end up, the winner of this match really doesn't want to win this match because they'll end up in the tougher portion of the bracket, right? So it's
or
kind
if you lose, you're totally out of the whole thing anyways?
No, if you lose, you go to a tougher bracket. And so it's like, well, this sucks. So now you've got this match, and maybe this is why Americans are like, fuck soccer. But like, if you lose, you actually end up in a better bracket. So you got two teams trying not to win. Well, Belgium, okay, I don't know if you've seen this. Belgium scores the goal to go 1-0, and of course they eventually win the match 1-0. Right after they score the goal, one of the players for Belgium picks up the soccer ball and kicks with his left, which is awkward to me. But he kicks with his left. He goes to punt the soccer ball, and it goes off the rail of the goalpost and back into his face.
Oh, he was frustrated?
No, he was excited. It was part of his victory, like, yeah, we just beat them English bastards. And he goes and he kicks the ball into the goalpost on the side, and it bounces back into his face and into the net. And
I didn't see that. I saw something just like that where this guy the goalie had just gotten scored on. And he grabbed the soccer ball and out of frustration because he just got scored on, he kicks the ball and it hits the left goalpost and pops him right back in the face and just looks like a total loser.
Be aware of your surroundings. You have this full field.
Kick it out into the field.
There's only one goal right here. You're going to actually kick the ball into the one area that's going to pop back into your face? What an idiot. God, how'd that guy make it to the World Cup? Jeez. Oh, my gosh.
He must be good at, sucking people's penises.
He could be on his own team.
I could totally see that happening.
So
what else you got?
The other thing with soccer is there was a picture agency called Getty.
I've heard of
it. They started a thing where they posted pictures and they were talking about sexiest fans of the World Cup. And you're like, yeah, holy hell yeah.
The German fans?
Oh my gosh. I mean, think about some of the countries. You got Colombia with whatever, wherever, we're going to be together. Yeah. You know, you got like Brazil and the chinga chinga dinga dinga ding. Yeah. I just picture women shimmying. I don't know. But there's this outcry on social media, okay? And it's like, oh my gosh, the 1970s called and I want my misogyny back, or they want their misogyny back. Like, okay, so as men, are we now in an era where we're just not supposed to appreciate sexy fans anymore? Or in this regards, it's towards sexy fans because they're from each country. Are we not allowed to appreciate beautiful women anymore as men
that own their sexuality?
I know,
and
I know we've got this whole Me Too movement, and you know what? There's a lot of validity to it, and I'm not saying that it's okay to harass people in any sort of way. But are you kidding me? Are we not supposed to recognize beauty in this world
from
anymore?
All sorts of countries in the entire world.
I mean, we can't double standard this damn thing. I'm sorry. There is beauty in this world, and I feel like men do a great job of appreciating it.
Yes.
And I feel like women do a great job of flaunting it.
I want to have sex with all sorts of women from all around the world.
I agree. And I just feel like, come on now. Or they ended up deleting the photos. They deleted the gallery. They succumbed to the bullying and the pressure.
That's
right?
Ridiculous.
They did, because you don't want to end up getting sued and losing your whatever.
You don't want to have your name tarnished by that. We
here at Two Idiots, we can sit here and say we appreciate the beauty and we don't give a shit. We are going to appreciate the beauty. Because
Brazilian women are fucking sexy as shit.
I mean, I would love to do that poll.
Colombian
I would love
women.
to see who did. I wanted to see who did have the sexiest fans.
Well, because
that they were able to put in photos, and if we had them, we would judge it right now. We don't have them. They were
Well, you know,
deleted.
like they're changing the Miss America rules. They are not
suggesting the
they're not gonna
swimsuit deal.
Yeah, they're not going to do the swimsuit
BS.
thing anymore.
Get out of here. What are we going to judge them on their ability to do taxes? Like, this is bullshit. Like, what are we?
But like you were talking about, this is the world we live in
My
now.
talent is, oh crap.
Juggling?
I paint sometimes. Like, just stop. Just stop
This
already.
whole thing was created so we could see some really gorgeous women from all over the country.
And let's not pretend that women don't appreciate their version of beauty when it comes to men as well. It may not be the same and on the same level, but it happens.
it's the same derogatory type of thing.
Does it not get the same? I mean, get out of here with this non-balanced stuff.
Chicks
Nonsense.
checking out dudes' packages, all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Right.
But it's just not as out there as guys are because we don't give a shit. We're like, man, she's got some
Yeah.
nice tits.
Oh, she's looking fantastic.
Yes.
You know? Maybe I'll stick it out there a little more, you know?
But what you were saying, for sure, like the
Yeah.
attacking of women and, you know, fondling and raping, all like, obviously that is not a good thing, and it tarnishes a lot of men.
Which
but-
takes me to my next story. Jameis Winston of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was just recently suspended by the NFL
Three games?
three games for his actions with an Uber driver 2 years ago in
He fondled
2016.
her.
Well, you know, they weren't doing a great job of saying how he fondled her. Me being the weird guy I am, I wanted to know exactly how he fondled her. And not just for some sick perverted, I just really want to know, like, okay.
Did he hold her hand?
What's the difference between a 2-game and a 3-game suspension? I mean, you know, or did you touch her ears? Did you grab a tit? What'd you do? And so it turns out he did. He grabbed the cooter and
He Donald Trump the shit out of that.
they pulled up to a Mexican like drive-through restaurant thing, right? And he reaches up, so they come to a stop. He reaches up and grabs the cooter, and allegedly from her, she says it's a full 3 to 5 seconds. So that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but when your cooter's getting grabbed,
I jumped
can
back.
I continue using the word cooter? I just
That
for
works.
whatever reason. Anyway, 3 to 5 second cooter grab is a long time.
Yes.
This just in.
I jump back. If my cooter's grabbed, I jump back.
You
and,
can't. There's a seat right there.
Oh. So
She's
while
sitting
she
in the
was
car.
while she was sitting in the car, I don't know why, but I had in my mind like she was outside of the car,
If anything,
fueling up or some
yeah,
shit.
if anything, she'd be doing like a Michael Jackson, "Ee-hee," you know, and you're now going up into the grab a little further, a little deeper, if you will.
Yes.
So anyway, so cooter grab happens. He gets the 3-game suspension. Meanwhile,
That's pretty mild, it sounds like.
Josh Gordon had the league substance violation. He got suspended the 16 games. Remember, Ezekiel Elliott had his 6-game suspension for whatever the hell he did.
Well, you should have grabbed a cooter instead.
And remember, and now this is all jumping off of the Ray Rice stuff. Remember, he knocked the girl, we made the reference earlier in the elevator. He knocked
6 games?
his eventual wife out. He got a 2-game suspension at that time.
Oh, yeah, automatic.
At that time, he got a
Initially.
2-game suspension. Then the video came out, and they said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! We can't.
We don't want any of this.
We need more."
3 more?
Yeah. And for those of you listening out there, that's 3 more ibuprofen. So, just kidding. We got 3 more.
But no,
beers coming
I
this
see
way.
where you're going with this. It's almost like there's like such a lesser penalty. It's like, well, you should have grabbed some cooter because apparently the punishment is much less severe.
Yes, the NFL, they're like the worst parents ever. Like, Okay, all right, so you slit the neighbor's throat. I need you to stand in the corner for 2 minutes, okay? But you ate all of my food in the refrigerator? Fuck you. You get no video games.
You're gonna die.
You're
no funeral.
You're screwed. It's like they're figuring it out on the fly, you know? They are. They're the worst parents ever. They just can't figure out their discipline at all.
I really feel like the commissioner starts with a G.
Goodell. Roger Goodell.
I thought Roger Goodell, whenever he first came into the league as commissioner, I kind of felt like he was a good commissioner. It looked like he was going to really white knuckle that stuff and
he came
take care
out
of business.
He came out and he's like, oh, we're going to get it right. We're going to get it right.
He did some
We're going to get it right.
He did some things, though, at first. I'm trying to remember what they were, but...
The truth is they're not getting it right.
Well, I mean, he's done the whole safety thing.
And so they're not getting it right. So, I don't know.
Right now?
Are we paused? Can we edit that part out? Never need to pee more in my life. That's not true.
I know we're over an hour. Oh, we're at, 75 minutes? Yep.
Hour 15?
I got to okay, yeah. Good to go.
Good?
So whenever you,
Okay, so what were we at?
All right, so anyway, what I was saying was the NFL they're like it's poor parenting skills. All right,
Nowadays, not back in the day.
Yeah, like their disciplinary action. It's just it's ridiculous. It's not that they're not the poor parents like they beat their kids.
They let their kids beat up their wives and Uber drivers.
Well, remember back in the day, we were talking about homeboy that got the 2 games, knocked her out in the elevator, Ray Rice. At the same time, there was the Greg Hardy thing. Have you heard of Greg Hardy?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Hardy was with the Panthers and then eventually got picked up by the Dallas Cowboys. But in between that, he knocked his girlfriend out at home in the bathroom, in the shower. Banged her head up against the tile,
could have easily killed her.
Hit her multiple times, banged her head up against the bathtub. Real crazy shit.
Give her the pile driver.
This guy did some real crazy shit. You know how many games suspended he got? 0. He got 0. The difference was the Ray Rice thing had a video attached to it. You see the video and then you react. You overreact to the video. I'm not saying it's okay to hit a girl. I'm saying that the Greg Hardy thing was 10 times, maybe even more than that, worse than what Ray Rice ever did in that one moment.
I think there were other moments that
what Greg Hardy did to that girl was awful.
Inhumane.
It was bad. It was not just a hey, you need to shut the fuck up, bam, lock her out. It was I've had enough of your shit and the thing and the guy. I mean, you're just like...
What was that movie you showed me with Christian Slater, Very Bad Things, I think? Yeah, Very Bad Things,
Very Bad Things, yeah.
And what they did to the hooker.
Yeah, he just used her like a fucking rag doll. And it's just like, that guy got no suspensions, and then he gets picked up by the Dallas Cowboys. Ray Rice never got his job back.
He never played another down.
He never did. That's the power of video. But what Greg Hardy did was so much over the top, way worse. I mean, if we're going to grade apples to apples here, Joe Mixon, and there's a video attached to that.
That was brutal.
Which OU, I'm a fan of OU, but OU did, I guess they did their diligence of keeping it out of the public mainstream. It didn't go viral like the Ray Rice thing did.
Bob Stoops
If it would have, I don't feel like Joe Mixon would have gone, although he did go second round.
Bob Stoops has... not ejected. He has kicked off players from the team forever for lesser things than what Joe Mixon did. What was
Right.
that safety? Oh, man.
I can't remember. But you know what?
There was a safety that had he just like violated he
gonna-
smoked some weed or something, and Bob Stoops kicked him off.
Yeah, that's true.
The team.
I'm not going to let that bitch off the hook, though. That girl
Which
came
one?
up, the girl that Joe Mixon knocked out, that girl came up and harassed him.
She was very aggressive.
And I'm not saying that the answer to harassment is to knock the fuck out, but like, dude, there has to be something. Okay.
Some accountability
On
her
a very
part.
basic level, we have law in America, right?
Yes.
Like,
Supposed justice.
I don't drive a certain way because there's laws against that. I drive within these limits to be safe and whatnot.
You need to use your signal more.
I don't go up and start harassing some dude that's bigger than me. Why? Because that dude could likely knock me the fuck out.
Or kill me.
And society as a whole would not care because I'm a white, middle-aged man. Like, you want to talk about a demographic that all of society really doesn't care about, as a matter of fact, they'll laugh at you, is white, middle-aged man. You go up to a guy bigger than you and you start harassing that guy and that guy knocks you the fuck out, you get laughed at. If you're a undersized female and you go harass a dude like that and you get knocked out, there's a video, you lose your job. You lose games in the NFL, you lose this, you lose that.
Money.
I'm just saying. So don't be that crazy bitch. Don't go do that shit. Okay? Can we not speak truthfully? Can we not say don't be that way? I'm not saying it's okay to respond that way, but I am saying have a bit of decorum. Don't even do this in the first place.
And ladies and gentlemen, I have to attest that Chance Del Fuego knows all about crazy bitches. He should be a professor of the art.
Anyway, so that's all I'm saying. Ray Rice never got a fair shake ever again. Whereas Greg Hardy at least got picked up by the Dallas Cowgirls after beating and annihilating this female. And it's all because there was a video on Ray Rice. There's no video for Greg Hardy.
Mr. Del Fuego is not a fan of the Cowboys,
NFL
by the way.
has got to figure this out. They're the worst parents ever. You can't sit here and give Jameis Winston a 3-game suspension off of a crotch grab if you're going to give Ezekiel Elliott a 6-game suspension. I mean, none of it never adds up. It never looks balanced. It never looks the same. It's like they're rolling the dice and going, okay, 3-game suspension for you, asshole.
It's got to be put on the same platform. It's got to be on the same level. No, like, maybe they need to have
it's like they can't
some sort
figure
of
it out.
system.
Yeah, they can't figure it out. And then
Well, maybe you should have let go of the crotch 2 seconds in.
And then we won't even talk about the fact that Jameis is not even that great of a quarterback. Okay. Here's the deal. You got this deal with Jameis, and then you're keeping Colin Kaepernick out of the league. I mean, can we get this right? Can we figure this out? How does Colin Kaepernick not even have a fucking job right now?
Because he's
I'm not
using
talking
his
about him
freedom
being
of
a
speech.
starter. I'm not even talking about him being a starter. I'm saying just because the dude knelt and was making he knelt. He got on a knee, and he can't even get a job.
In this country.
Jameis Winston grabbed this girl's cooter for 3 to 5 full seconds, and he's still, he loses 3 games. He still has a job.
Very high-paying job.
Colin Kaepernick just kneels down. He even admitted he's not disrespecting the military. Everybody's telling him that he's disrespecting the military. He says, I'm not disrespecting the military. I'm just saying that
The government.
I'm just saying that black people should not be shot by the police for no reason. I just want there to be fairness. Not much. It's not that big a deal. He's not going out there and grabbing his crotch like Baker Mayfield at the Kansas game during the national anthem. Jameis Winston actually did grab a crotch, and it wasn't even his own. That's what I'm saying. 3-game suspension, still has his job. Anyway, there's just, I know. And then the obvious comeback is, Chance Del Fuego. Dude, life isn't fair, dumbass. Get it together. Life isn't fair. And it's obvious to me. But
the more
NFL,
we talk about this, though, there's a better
NFL
shot at it being more fair.
The NFL just look like they just have no clue as far as how to discipline any of this stuff
Leadership.
whatsoever. Yeah,
Any
like,
of it.
I don't know. 3 games. Give it to him. I don't know. 3 games. He loses 3 games. I don't know. And it makes you wonder, Jameis, how much longer does Jameis have? I mean, the guy's got a history anyway. The guy has assaulted someone before that,
Florida
crotch
State,
grab.
yeah.
He's got the stolen crabs incident or whatever the hell. I mean,
I
don't know how much longer. It was while he was at Florida State. He stole some crabs from some, I don't know. It's just some college shit. Who cares? I don't care that he stole or did some shit in college.
He's a kid.
If any of us in the regular world were being judged for what we did while we were in those college years, what would we say about ourselves?
We
Come
would be
on.
screwed.
Right. So, but you do look for some maturity. And that's something we haven't seen with Jameis Winston. And honestly, we haven't seen that great of a football player on the field from Jameis Winston either to go along with that. You can't say, well, he did grab the cooter, but that guy really could take the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. They're not even that good.
Ray Lewis shot and killed a man.
No, he did not. That is alleged. He was in the
Allegedly.
area. He did not do the shooting. He was in the area.
Was it his bar or club, or am I thinking of
He
somebody
was at
else?
the club. He was with his
Posse.
if you want to call it posse, that's probably looked upon as derogatory, but he
Yes.
was with his friends, and
But that's really what it was.
somebody killed somebody. It wasn't Ray, but it was and bada bing, bada boom, he moves on.
It was totally some Tupac Shakur shit.
So there's enough, hey, we don't know all the details I don't want to convict Ray Lewis. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of Ray Lewis. I think the guy is...
I think he's the greatest linebacker of all time.
If he's not the greatest middle linebacker of all time, he's easily top 5. Greatest middle linebacker of all time, and great motivator, great guy, great
team leader.
Except for that killing thing.
Yeah, I mean, that does kind of tarnish a little bit.
Yeah, all things considered, Mrs.
Whoopsie-daisy.
Lincoln, what did you think of the play?
That's awesome.
Other than your husband being shot during it, what did you think of the play? Was it good?
Well, I'm
Anyway.
pretty sure I'm going to go insane now.
Yeah.
Historically. I'm going to be entirely nuts. I mean, she might have been nuts beforehand, but it's just kind of like, Jackie O, after, President Kennedy was killed, she was kind of like, well, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah. You notice nobody rides in convertibles anymore as president. But unless you're
That was really bleak.
unless your opinion poll is at least 80% or above, the people really love you.
Maybe not in Minnesota.
I don't think
Maybe
we'll
not
ever be there again when we're divided.
Dallasians?
The Dalicians.
Delicians? Yeah,
I had
they
the
probably
same,
aren't doing that.
Sorry, I know it's like we're bouncing all over the place, but I had the same question about, Uruguay just won yesterday against Portugal and knocked out one of the All-Stars, Mr. Ronaldo. Are they Uruguayans? Are they Uruguayans? Or are they Uruguayans?
Or Gwinians.
Are they Uruguayans?
Like San Diegans?
We asked somebody, they said Mayan. I don't know if that's the right answer.
How do you go to that?
I looked at them geographically. They look like they're in the butthole of Brazil. They kind of are. I mean, they're just kind of south there. They're just either the butthole or the nutsack of Brazil. I don't care whichever one. Maybe they are shaped like a ball.
It would be interesting to ask a Uruguayan,
Yes.
hey, how do you feel about being part of Brazil's nutsack? Would you rather be Like, you know,
They're
they're
like-
like, could you not say we're the butthole or nutsack of Brazil?
They're like, we are
No.
honored. We are honored. We provide the semen for the Brazilians.
They are hot.
They are
so
able to nut into the. Okay, we know how babies are made, Mr. Uruguayan. We don't need all the info.
how much semen is going through the Amazon?
I don't know that there's a lot in the. You said the Amazon?
Yeah, I mean the
Just jungle rats coming together. Why did I
Like,
say jungle rats?
don't-
Jungle rats coming together.
I don't know. I mean, are
Fornicating
these
in the
animal-
humidity. Like
They could
it's
be.
so humid, dude. I don't know what your testosterone level is in the humidity. I don't even know if I want to research it. I just feel like that's one of those moments I feel zapped. Like that's, as a guy, that's one of those moments I kind of don't, I'm not in the mood. I'm like so sweaty and nasty and tired. I'm just like, give me an ice cream. You're looking great over there, but you're kind of moist. And I know that that's one of those words that
women
like,
hate.
but you know,
Like, just don't ever hoist
if
anything.
you go full body moist, then I'm just not into it.
So I think what just happened was our server, being a female, just opened the door, or somebody just opened the door and they heard the word moist, and they
Look,
immediately
if you're in
left
the
from the door.
Amazon in the summer, you're moist. There's no way around it. It's humid.
Sticky moist.
I'm just saying.
You're
Anyway,
sticky moist.
so Uruguay, we've agreed, is the ball sack of Brazil. So back to real news. I'm just kidding. So Russell Westbrook has a party. He has, I was about to say James Harden. That's how much beer I've had. Paul George, 13. He's got Nas at his party.
PG-13.
And I believe we
Being
had
a stand-up dude.
I believe we had Bob Stoops at this party. I think, and then Bob Stoops was reported saying, "Well, I'll tell you what, we kept PG-13 here. He's, he's a part of the process, and we're out here to win championships, and that's what we're all about here in Oklahoma. And the Thunder are going to win their first title, their first of 10. They're going to be a dynasty." And I'm
So
going to
what do
bring.
you think that Paul George is going to do to the defenses that he's going to come up against?
Well, he's going to annihilate him. He's going to do a full court blitz package, and we're going to run the spread offense with the ball, and people are going to play wide receiver while running, backing it up in that shit and dunking. So that's what he said at the party. That was his thoughts.
And that's alleged because
Yesterday,
What was it?
scissor hands.
Barber.
6:30.
That's he goes to scissor hands.
He posted this at 6:30. Just saying it.
Oh
It's
my
trending on.
gosh. So scissor hands here in Oklahoma City is a very popular barber. Like anybody that comes from out of town goes to scissor hands to get the fade, get their hair did. I mean, like Scissorhands is the man. And Paul Scissorhands had the looks like he had the scoop on Paul George staying. So that is absolutely awesome.
I've seen a dude professionally. He cuts people's hair with an axe or a.
What the?
No, seriously. Like he uses an axe. He lays them on this wooden box.
Oh.
And he cuts their hair. He does a really amazing job. But there's no way, like, seriously, your axe is like, ching,
Yeah.
and there's no way. He like gives the chicks the like wedge look, and
Whoa, so females go to this guy?
yeah, well, actually, I think most, if not all, of the people that I saw on this video were females.
Really? Now, does he only do hair, or does he do like Brazilian?
No, he like that would. I would not sign up for a Brazilian haircut from an axe wielder.
Okay. All right.
It's not like it's not so much an axe. I want to say
Is it like a half axe?
hatchet. A hatchet.
Oh,
I
a
think.
hatchet. I
But
see.
either way, I mean, it's like
That takes
not
skill.
one thing that you want to have being that close to your head,
Right.
While you're getting your hair cut.
I wonder if you get a license for that.
This may have been in a different country. I would hope so.
It's a specialized thing.
Yeah, like, where do you, like in America, like, hey, I want to be a hatchet hair cutter, hairstylist, whatever you want to call me.
That seems choppy to me. Like, I just, excuse the pun, but it just seems like your hair would just be like in the shape of a house or something, like some weird shit. Like,
well, it's like what you were talking about with liquor licenses. You just, you don't go and learn anything. You just
pay the $30 and you're on your way. You know, like I don't need to know the laws.
You get to serve people stuff that might end up killing them. Seriously. Alcohol kills people all the time. Hey, here's a liquor license. You can do it legally now.
Oh my gosh.
So like, I could seriously murder people legally right now.
Well, it's legal until, no, you couldn't murder legal. No, because once you do the murder, it's now illegal. Like,
well, I mean, that's not going to be like on their death certificate. Like, hey, this person served me drinks for 20 years.
Yeah.
And really hooked it up all those years.
One night I really decided to drive. I don't know. Uber was available, but
I just wasn't having any of that.
I just wasn't having any of that.
So what else do you have?
Oh, man. Well, that's... Okay. I mean, if we're going to... we were talking World Cup stuff, right?
You were about to say World Series.
I was.
I saw your mouth.
Germany. I got to bring this shit up. This is a full week. You forget that all this has happened in a week. Germany...
A lot.
Knocked out of the round of 16. First time since 1938. What do you think about that? That's before
What are you
World
talking
War.
about? No, Germany won. They went to they did the kickoff thing.
Yeah. This is why it's called Two Idiots Talking Sports right now.
I thought it was Germany.
Germany
won the
has
kickoff.
Germany has made the round of 16 all the time since 1938.
I'm thinking of the Russia game. Okay.
They look so.
That's
all
terrible.
white people look alike. I get it.
That's terrible. Well, Germany and Russia, they
Right.
both love vodka. And,
Yes,
yeah.
they got together.
Yeah, Nazis, commies.
Yeah,
they're
Nazis, commies. It's the same
fascist.
thing. But how about that? Germany misses the round of 16 for the first time since 1938. That's pretty big news, pretty big story.
So they've
It's
been
earlier
in
in the week.
World Cup every single time.
Yes.
And they made the World Cup, but they didn't make it to the round of. They didn't make it to the tournament.
Yeah, forget making the World Cup. They didn't make the round of 16 for the first time since 1938.
That's dominance.
Not just the World Cup. Yeah, they didn't go further.
What was it, 2014, where they scored 7 goals?
Yeah, when they beat Brazil,
Yeah.
who's nobody to like cough or laugh at.
No, Brazil may have the most championships in the World Cup ever.
Right.
I may be wrong on that, but
And these are the same players. Now, that's the thing, is 4 years later, these guys are obviously older. I think a lot of these guys have been playing for like 12 years, so they're beyond their prime.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a little bit of that involved on top of, sometimes the mentality plays into it, like, well, fuck, we're Germany, we'll just go on by. And then you kind of rest on your laurels a bit, and you don't give it your all, and then all of it's like, shit, we just lost to Mexico.
Well, I mean, Mexico can't be that bad.
No. But you take it for granted sometimes. I mean, like a lot of times Germany would be expected to beat a Mexico normally, right? And then they end up losing. Then they have to have the comeback victory just to win by 1 against whoever, and then they lose to Sweden. And it's just like now they're out. And they're normally known for their defense, and their defense was kind of crap. And I don't care what sport it is. This is something I feel like we know. In any sport, in order to play good defense, it takes hustle, it takes hard work, it takes
Teamwork.
effort, it takes energy. I don't care what the sport is, you have to have that.
The energy part, that's interesting because you were talking about the Germans, older.
Yeah.
So obviously they don't have the kind of energy that the 19-year-old who just scored 2 goals in one game.
Yeah, but
in
they
one
still.
match.
It's sad. They still should have moved on to 16. I felt like talent-wise, they were still good enough. I just felt like they underplayed their talent.
You know, I'm rooting for Germany because I'm almost half German.
You know, I'm not. I'm almost half German as well.
Yes.
I'm not rooting for Germany. Fuck them. You know, they took on the world twice. Forget them, man. I don't care about Germany. I'm glad they're out. Because here's the thing.
They gave us the Frankfurter.
Here's my theory about Germany. You don't want their heads to swell too big. You don't want them to think, you know what, I think we can take on the world again.
Third time.
Yeah, you want to kind of knock them down a notch any opportunity you can, because you just don't want that getting into their heads. Yeah, hey, yeah, that world, we're starting to hate them again. The entire world. Fuck them. Like, no, Germany. You just stay over there. You keep brewing your beer, okay, and eating your brats. Beer and brats.
Your blood sausage.
Dominate at that. Stop coming up with nuclear weapon ideas, okay? You gave us Einstein. Thank you.
Yes.
So,
You got to give him that, though. Einstein, he was the man.
all right. So that feels like that's our July 1st Two Idiots Talking Sports podcast. Do you have anything to add to the mix before we take off here, Drunk Tim?
Well, I just, I have talked to you about it, a decent amount, I would say, about the sport of soccer needing to change drastically and soon. It seems like the rest of the world is wanting America to catch up with our passion for this sport.
Yeah.
And like I've told you, I've watched more soccer during this World Cup than I've ever watched in my entire life. And it's so ridiculous. The flopping, the grabbing of the jerseys. I feel like they need to come up with a way to penalize people from doing these things so there are more goals scored.
Okay.
It's so ridiculous. And this is not anything new that people didn't know that soccer, there was all this flopping going on and, jersey grabbing and things like that. Like, no, it's football. Stop grabbing people's jerseys with your hands. So I feel like they need to punish defenders more for doing these things that's slowing the game up and make it more of an offensive game. Because, like Jim Traber says, soccer's not a sport, like a sport that can end in a 0-0 tie. I don't want to watch that game. Why would anybody in their rightful mind want to watch a game that could possibly end in a 0-0 tie? That's beyond ridiculous. So I think that if the world, Major League Soccer, if they started trying to do more things about eliminating these defensive uglinesses of this sport, I think there's a better shot at America actually embracing this sport.
All right. So that's Drunk Tim's take on soccer in general. We're going to save that. We're going to address that argument in our next podcast. Along with whatever else is going on in the world, probably some more free agency, probably some other things going on, maybe even a little bit of, we're starting to slide into a little bit of NFL talk. And we're going to address this soccer issue with a little more update, and we're going to hit you hard on the next Two Idiots Talking Sports podcast out of Oklahoma City. Y'all have a great day.